Hello, welcome back to my channel. So this video I'm going to go over the way that I edit. This is probably the most requested video that I get, and I've literally never made a video about this, which is quite shameful to be honest. But anyways, I'm super excited to bring this to you guys. I'm going to go over a vlog that I've already edited, but I used a lot of like retro VHS kind of effects and stuff like that. So I'm going to go over how I do that. And if you're interested in getting expert advice, I highly suggest that you search YouTube. There's literally so many filmmaking and editing tutorials. That's how I've learned. I'll leave some of my favorite tutorials below just so you guys can have some references. And yeah, let's just jump into it. Okay, let's do this. All right, so I believe my screen is recording. Hello, welcome to this first video, my first how I edit video. It's great to have you with us. All right, so the first thing I did with this footage, I'm actually going to make this whole track not visible. So I guess I should kind of go over the different areas of Premiere. So over here you have your effects that you can change things. So you can change things like the position and the scale and all of that stuff. Rotation, opacity. I'm going to be using this opacity area quite a bit, so you're going to have to get pretty familiar with that. And then over here you can adjust the colors. You can see that I've already brought the shadows down a lot. It was here. I just kind of dragged it down. And let's see. I also made it black and white, so here's what it looks like with color, but I felt like it looked a lot stronger without color, so I just went with that. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do with my vlog is do that thing where you kind of see a bunch of different clips really quickly. So if I just press play, you see all of these different things happening. So you see all those things happening really quick, and then at the end of it, if I zoom in, you can see that there's this transition that happens, and then it goes into the actual vlog where I'm on the bus getting ready to go to New York. So, and that's Andre eating his egg sandwich in the morning. So, okay, first thing I did is I made sure to leave the audio. I feel like leaving the audio just adds an extra element of like, I don't know, the city sounds and just, I don't know, it gives it a really nice effect. So I left the audio with these clips. I realized I didn't explain how I got these clips and why I selected them. I wanted to select the most interesting clips out of the entire vlog. So instead of searching through everything, I just created the whole vlog, didn't create an intro, and then at the very end when I was done editing everything, I just went back to my favorite parts of the vlog and just pulled tiny sections out and stacked them all together as the intro. And then I transitioned into the actual video because you want to give your audience a feeling of, you know, this is the start of the actual video. And then I just placed audio underneath it. I used a song from Hits Only. If you guys didn't know, my production company, Hits Only, also creates custom music. I always get questions about how I select the music for my videos, and honestly, I just get a feeling from songs, and if it matches the vibe of the footage, then I'll pair it up and see if it works, and usually it does. If you've been following me for a really long time, then you know I used to select SoundCloud songs, and I would try and find different artists on SoundCloud, and it would literally take forever trying to find a song that wouldn't get flagged for copyright. Plus, I just didn't feel good about doing that anyway, because technically you're not getting permission from the artist to do it. So my life is so much easier now that I have Hits Only, and I can literally just tell Andre to create a song for me and tell him the vibe, and it's done within like 20 minutes. So I kind of cheat the system a lot with that. If you guys are interested in getting custom music for your own content that's not going to get flagged for copyright, Hits Only does provide that service. I will leave our contact email below. Just send us an email and we will set it up for you for a very low fee. All right, back to the video. Okay, so jump into it. I personally thought that this footage, well, let me caveat everything by saying that this footage is shot on an iPhone. So iPhone footage is just really nasty with like colors, and like I just don't like the way that it looks. It's super contrasty and gross. So usually what I'll do, instead of trying to get the colors to look nice, I just take the saturation down, because I just feel like these colors are just gross. So you take the saturation down and boom, it looks 1,000 times better. It looks a little more cinematic. And then I always kind of take the shadows down, take the contrast down a little bit with these sliders, and you can kind of see what that does. So I feel like iPhone footage tends to look more on this side of the contrast, and so I just took a little bit out of it. All right. And then I did another VHS effect right here that you can see. So every time I switch the camera view, or I don't know, I just feel like it needs to be switched up a little bit. Let's see. So over here on this panel, you can kind of scroll through your different stuff. So here's one. These are things that I've downloaded on YouTube. And if you just search VHS overlay or VHS green screen, then a bunch of these will pop up, and I'll show you exactly how I use them and make them look a certain way. So what you do in Premiere is you press I on the keyboard, and that starts your selection of the clip. I actually like the little play thing right here. So I'm gonna press I here, and then I'm gonna press O, which is the out point, and then you can drag either the whole thing down, which brings you your audio down here and your video up here, or you can just drag the video only. I'm not using the audio for this. So you can see that it's the wrong size. It doesn't really fit the whole screen. Like, you've got to do some adjusting. So the first thing I do is obviously scale it up. And then here's where I'm messing with the opacity. I'm gonna go to screen. Feel free to mess around with these because there's so many different ones that you can use. Overlay sometimes looks really nice, especially on like layers of grain, if you add grain. What else? I've used multiply before. Like, you just kind of have to see, that looks super cool. Actually, I gotta remember that one, light and color. So I'm just gonna leave that as is right now. I'm actually gonna cover it over this one. So that's what you have now. And if I were to put it back, I think the other one was on screen. So if I put it on screen, here's what it looks like. But it just gives it that kind of, I don't know, VHS type of transition that I feel like is super popular right now. So now you can see that this one, if I turn this track on, there's another VHS kind of thing overlaying it. And what this is over here, you can see that it's on screen. If I put it on normal, I also took the saturation down. So this is what the clip looks like regularly. I just did the same thing. I made it much bigger to kind of cover the whole screen. Put it on screen. I didn't like this blue color, so I just took the saturation down on that layer only because I still wanted this to be black and white. Because if you check out, I'm gonna turn this off. If you check out this footage, it's super ugly and gross. I had to mess with these quite a bit to get it to look the certain way that I wanted it to. But yeah, I just took the saturation down because the colors are just really, you know, iPhone footage is not that great. So we're working with what we have. And there's another transition right there that I really love. This one is like a, let's see if I can find it over here. Here it is. It's one of my favorites. I found this on YouTube as well. Kind of see this happening. It's just really cool. So if I wanted to take this, because I want some like super filmy looking stuff happening, so I would just take that, do the IO thing, make it super big, screen, or let's try overlay. So see how overlay looks better on this clip? So then now you've got something like that. I wish I actually put that in the vlog that way because that looks super cool. Anytime you see like VHS things happening on my channel, it's usually because I've overlaid that clip on top of it. So I take, you know, one of these, select my favorite part of it, just drag it over, and then do screen and all that stuff. So that kind of takes care of that question. And like I said, you can find all of this stuff on YouTube. It's super easy. So let's see if I can find something else that I can show you guys. Oh, this is one of my favorite things to do too. So this next clip, you can see it goes back and forth. I love doing that when I'm editing. I feel like it looks so cool. So we were going around a bend on the bus and I was recording. So I was like, once I put the footage into the program, I'm just gonna delete these and redo it. So here's what the full clip looks like. But that's kind of boring, right? Like, it wouldn't have the same impact. So what I did is I made it short like that. And you hold down the option button to copy it. I copied it. And then if you right click, I feel like, I don't know what, like, depending on if you're using Mac or whatever, but you right click it and let's see, speed duration, and I changed it to 200. So it's a little bit faster. So it's going twice as fast. And I copied it over by pressing the option button and just dragging it over. And then I changed this speed to reverse. So now it's actually negative 200. So if I were to go back and check the speed, or well, if you just play it, you can see that it's going backwards, okay? So then press option again and drag that first clip over, and then press option and drag this clip over. So it's gonna go back and forth and back and forth. This looks super cool if like someone's like putting their hand in their hair or like there's some kind of movement within the shot. So yeah, it gives that kind of like back and forth boomerang vibe. And I feel like another thing too is like you can do all these effects on your iPhone or whatever, but I don't know, I don't feel like it's as powerful because for one, a lot of the apps that do it, it really downgrades the quality of the footage, and you don't want that to happen if you're trying to make better quality content. So I would say use an editing software, whether it's Final Cut or Premiere, whatever. It just adds a lot more to it, and you have more control over the quality of the footage because Premiere is not going to downgrade the quality of your footage at all. And like I said, a lot of those apps that do like boomerang or even just like the VHS effects or the film effects, like it's really messing up your footage at the same time, or it's just, I don't know, everybody uses the same ones. Like it doesn't have any uniqueness to it. You know exactly like what app someone used just by the design of the footage. You know what I'm saying? Like the borders or whatever, you know, like, oh, they used Prequel or they used the film app or whatever. And I don't like people to know how I'm editing my videos. I feel like that's something that adds a quality to your stuff. I will say though, there are a lot of creators that are doing what I'm doing, where they're just screening and like overlaying different VHS effects. And right now it seems like everyone's using the same effects because we're all finding them on YouTube in the same place by searching the same thing. So I'm actually going to show you something that I purchased that I love using, and it's super easy. So we're going to go back to this transition right here where it's kind of scrolling in between the two clips. So this is actually by Red Giant, and if you go over to your effects panel, you just press this button up here, scroll down to effects, and if you put in RG, I basically downloaded, it's like a plugin. I can't really describe how to do it, but once you download it, then you'll get all of these things too. But they have so many different like stylized things that you can do. Like you can add grain as with certain things. And then once you go over to the effect thing, you just scroll down and you add how much grain you want, or how saturated the grain is, or how exposed it is. Like you can just really mess around with it. There's different types of grain. There's so many options within this plugin, but I will say it is expensive. I'm kind of crying right now because I didn't want to spend that much money on it, but I just wanted to have effects that not everybody has. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to clear this because I don't want it there anymore. Okay, so this is a VHS transition. So all you have to do is type in VHS and you just drag it over. I've already done that, so I just dragged it over here. You can also adjust like how long the transition time is. I liked it right here. And same thing, if you scroll down, you can change the way that the transition happens. So this one, you can see that it's sliding down. So it's starting here and then it's just going down a little bit to the next clip. And then what else can you change? You can change the different type of VHS. You can see it changed a little bit. So there's a whole bunch of options to really personalize it to what you want. So that's another way of adding like a more stylized look. I also did that over here. Where is it? I was showing my outfit, so it was probably around here. Here it is. So on here, I added the, what is this? I don't know, I think it's called just a VHS effect, but you can see here that you can change the frame size so you can make it look smaller. You can change the different style of VHS, so it'll change like the colors a little bit. What else? You can change the noise amount. Let's see. I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of options in there that you can like sort through and really personalize as well. But you can see like how much the footage looks way different. What else? Okay, so here's another thing that I did when we went to. Sorry if you hear my dog Iggy.
What do you want? What are you doing?
All right, I'm back. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about time lapses and what I did in this video to make them really pop. So, if I just play the video like this, you can see that it's slowly zooming out, and I just feel like it added something to the actual clip. So, I'm going to go back to it and show you guys what I did. So, here we go. At the very beginning, I used this panel over here where it says scale. All you do is press this little, I hear Iggy running around upstairs. Okay, so you just press this little animation button, and that allows you to add in little points. And when you add a point, you can change how it's zooming in. So I added that one here, which is 223% zoomed in, and this is 137% zoomed in, and you can see what it does, right? So if I delete that, it goes back to being normal. So you want it to start super zoomed in, and then what I did is at the very end of the clip, I made sure that it was zoomed out to 100%. So it starts at 137%, a little more zoomed in, and it slowly scales back to 100%. I feel like with time lapses, adding that extra bit of motion really helps it to like pop instead of just throwing in a time lapse. And so yeah, I added that, and then on top of it, I added this little effect here. I already showed you guys how I do that. I just screened that little film kind of layer on top of it, and then I ended up with this. And then here, I wanted to change the effect, so I added a little bit of a glitch. I take this off so you can really see it. I feel like this is that same play glitch, remember, that I showed you in the beginning. And I took the saturation down on it, which you can see over here. So when it switches over to this new VHS style, then it just has a little bit more of like a glitchy look, right? Anytime you change the frame or change the scene, I feel like it just helps when you add that little bit of a like glitch to it to give it a super VHS kind of vibe. This effect is also that same VHS effect from Red Giant, the one that I bought. I use it all the time because I'm trying to get my money's worth. I feel like it's $100 like a year or something. I don't know, it's kind of expensive. So yeah, anyways, just added that to it, and then you can go into the rest of the meal at that point. Oops, this is still off. Okay, so you can see I added a VHS layer on top of all of this footage. I think I did another time lapse at the end of this where I did that same thing where I zoom out. See, and it just adds a little bit of extra motion to it, so I really feel like that helps. And then to get to the next clip that has no effects on it whatsoever, I used that same VHS transition, also from Red Giant, that I showed you in the beginning. So this is more Canon footage than it is iPhone footage because Andre was with me and he was helping me film. And he was taking pictures of me. God bless his soul. He's amazing. I just really like to do that. I feel like it adds a little element of like film vibes when you can throw up different like grainy pictures and stuff like that. So here's the actual photos, and you can see how quickly they change. And if you drag them down, you can see they're exactly the same length. So they're all switching at the same period of time. And I make sure that it's super fast. Some of them I bounce back and forth to give that almost boomerang type effect. All right, so this concludes the first segment of how I edit videos. I really want to make more videos like this. And I realized after I started editing this video that I didn't do the best job describing Premiere and how to use it. So if you want a video on like breaking down how to use Premiere and like really walking through every step, let me know and I can make another video. But this one I just wanted to show you guys like the retro VHS effects and stuff like that and how I do it. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. I'm really excited to see the other questions that you have so I can start making another video like this because this was super fun. And I will see you very soon in the next one. I love you. Mwah! Bye.